In this video, we'll look at Binance liquid swaps, otherwise known as liquidity farming. This is a way to swap tokens, but also a way to earn some yield from the trading fees paid by other traders. So we're going to look at how to actually use that, some of the pros and cons of this system, and how it actually works under the surface. If you are new to Binance, there's a deposit and trading bonus down in the description up to $600. I'll leave timestamps for all of the different sections down in the description as well. Come to Binance liquid swap first then. It's actually in the earn section and then liquidity farming. So it's called liquidity farming here, but then it's called liquidity swap on the main page. So as you can see here, we have an overview of two different parts of the DEX right here. So we have innovative and stable, and I'll explain those in a bit later, but we have some supported tokens, and you can see the liquidity, that is how much of the tokens has been traded, and then the total yield. So if you are actually part of the liquidity book right here and you're earning some trading fees and some rewards, that's the yield you'll be getting on a yearly basis. So you can compare everything right here, and then on the right hand side you can add, remove, or even swap tokens yourself. Now, how to swap tokens on here? Well, this is actually an automated market maker exchange, and so it's exactly the same as DEXs like Uniswap, if you've ever used Uniswap, or PancakeSwap, any other decentralized exchange that is an automated market maker. That's what Binance are using right here. Now, it's the same system in the background, but it's run by Binance, and so it's not decentralized, it's not on the blockchain. And so the benefit of that is that you're going to get zero fees, essentially. You'll have to still pay trading fees, but you won't have any blockchain fees. The downside is obviously you need to trust Binance and you need to custody your assets there, so everyone can make a decision whether that's right for them or not. We'll get to swapping coins first, then using the exchange, and then we'll get to adding liquidity after. So we go to swap right here, and we can swap one token for another. So just like any other decentralized exchange, I'm going to take some ETH right here, and I'm going to swap it into any other token, as you can see. And then it's going to give me the price and the exchange rate between the two tokens, the slippage, which is 0 right here. You can see the effective fee, right? So they are charging you a swap fee, which is 0.15%. You're actually getting a fee rebate as well, as you can see here, of 35%. So they will basically benefit you a little bit and pay you a little bit of BNB to kind of make the swap cheaper, and you can swap right here. So it's as simple as that, just like anything else. I don't know why you would use this if you're using Binance. Binance is a centralized exchange. You're going to get much better trades on the centralized order book rather than using an automated market maker. And also the exchange fees are cheaper on the centralized exchange. So I don't see why you would do this, but it is there as an option. Now we'll get on to adding some assets as liquidity for other people to swap. The reason people do this is because, as you can see, you get paid a yield for doing this. So this is just like adding your assets to a decentralized exchange. If you've ever added them into a liquidity pool, you know you'll get trading fees from traders. So when people pay a trading fee, because you're providing liquidity on the order book, you are making some of those fees. You're going to get some of those fees back. And as you can see, Binance is also paying some BNB rewards as well. So there's two ways to do this. The first is using what they call innovative. This is where you have two assets that are not alike. They're not the same, and they're not going to have the same price. So a great example of that would be Bitcoin and US dollar Tether, two completely different assets that are going to have different prices. BNB and ETH, again, they will have different prices as well. They are not exactly the same. For example, a stable pair, if we click on this, you've basically got stable coins here. So USDT and DAI, BUSD and DAI, these are both stable coins, and they should have a dollar value each. And so they're not going to change in price between each other. You also have Bitcoin and wrapped Bitcoin here. It should be exactly the same price. Now in the innovative part as well, you have this pair right here, which is ETH and BETH. Actually, this pair should also have pretty much the exact same price, because ETH is the gas coin and then BETH is staked ETH. It's Binance's version that's paying some staking rewards. And so even though they might have a slightly different price, they should be more or less the same. But it's important to understand the difference between stable and innovative. If you're putting two assets into a pool that aren't the same, you have to know about impermanent loss. Impermanent loss is something that happens when you use this type of automated market maker system. And as you can see here, when you add two tokens into the liquidity pool, that's all fine. But if the price changes from when you put them in to when you take them out, you will suffer something called impermanent loss. Now, this is something that is going to take away from any of the profits that you get from those trading fees. And so you have to have a time horizon in mind. Let's say you have a year and you want to put 2 assets in the pool and you're going to take them out a year later. As you can see here, if the price of them changes by 25% or 1.25 times, you actually make a 0.6% loss from that impermanent loss. If they change by 50%, you make a 2% loss, and so on. Now, if you have 2 risk assets, they could genuinely change quite a lot in price. And so you're going to be suffering this impermanent loss if you take them out of the pool at that time. And so the total net profit that you make is the yield that you get from all the trading fees that you've received, minus impermanent loss, minus any other slippage or trading fees that you have putting tokens in and out of the pool. Therefore, because of impermanent loss, I only add tokens into pools that are stable. So we're looking at tokens that have a very similar value, for example, ETH and BETH, wrapped Bitcoin and Bitcoin, or stable coins like this. They pay a lower yield, and that's because they're less risky because there's less impermanent loss in those pools. We'll go ahead and add liquidity then. It is very simple. We're going to choose a pair. I'm actually going to choose the ETH BETH pair because this is a very popular pair to add into a liquidity pool. If you've ever seen staked ETH liquidity pairs on something like Curve Finance, you will see a lot of people doing this. And this is essentially Binance's version on their centralized exchange where they have ETH and then the staked version of ETH, which is their version called BETH. And so what you're essentially getting exposure to is Ethereum and staked Ethereum plus trading fees. And so at the moment, you're getting a 7% yield on Ethereum, whereas staked ETH itself is paying around about 4.5%. So a little bit of an extra yield. You're also getting reward coins here to take that yield up. But the yield can change, and it's dependent on how much liquidity is in the pool and how much trade there is in terms of people trading. So these yields definitely can change throughout time. But we'll go and add some tokens right here. So you can come over to this bit and just click add. And then it's going to take you into the liquidity swap, AMM. So we can add some tokens here. Now, if you have both of them already in the correct ratio, you can add both of them like this, or you can just add one of them. So what it's going to do is going to add one of the tokens in, and you need 2 tokens to create the pair. And what it's going to do if you just add Ethereum is, I'll just click max here. It's going to put Ethereum in, but it's also going to swap some of that Ethereum for BETH so that I have the right ratio of both of them in the pool so that I can earn those trading fees. So as we can see here, we have a fee for the exchange, and we can see we own a very small part of the pool right here. If you have a very large amount, you could really suffer a lot of slippage, especially in a small liquidity pool. So this is just something to keep an eye on. You can see the slippage is 0.14% of the trade when I'm putting in. So you're going to have to take that away from the yield as well that you're getting. As you can see here, really great is an impermanent loss calculator. So if we click on this, you can actually work out that if you put the 2 coins in, at a certain amount, you can see that the initial price and then the expected price at redemption, if I put like 180 like this, I can see the impermanent loss. So you can play around with this. It's a really good method of seeing, well, if the 2 tokens change a massive amount, how much impermanent loss would I get? So really important to, maybe play around with that before you're putting tokens in to see, is it worthwhile, dependent on how volatile I think the pair will be when I've got the tokens in the pool. But once you've clicked accept on the terms, you can just put that in and add liquidity. You will go through with this transaction here, and you'll have kind of a 50-50 ratio, or you should have, of the 2 assets. It depends what the ratio is in the pool in terms of which one that you have. But with BETH, ETH, considering they're very similar, you should have more or less 50-50 of each. And that's it. You go through with that transaction, and then you should be able to see your history here. And so you have all of your liquidity that you provided right here, and you can see all of the fees, and you can withdraw from here as well. Now also distribution, this is fees that you're getting, so that distribution goes to you, and you can claim here as well. So if there's any bonuses in BNB or anything like that, you can claim those. The benefit of this is that there's no gas fees, so that saves on gas fees, but obviously it's centralized versus using something like Curve Finance, which is decentralized, and so you're keeping custody of your assets in that case.